I've been learning to play the violin since I was a young girl, and the natural unfolding of my career as a music teacher has been wonderful, and I'm very pleased with my music career as a teacher. And it seems like a really good time now because I've been really progressing well with teaching. But I've always really wanted to progress well with performance as well, and fine-tune perfect pitch ability so I can hear perfect pitch frequencies. And to me, that just sounds amazing. That would take my playing to a whole other level. I could even create music. I could, and I know that in the past I've always sort of said, well, you're just a teacher, you're not a performer, and you should be fine with that. But that's not what I really want, is to be confident with that.
There's so much that we want to give you, because this analogy is rich with everything that is important for us to say to you or to any of you. And so we're just going to make our way through it with the most important things first. And we want to say to you, you could not have chosen a better instrument for the learning, for the coming to know about the perfect vibrational pitch, because there's nothing about that instrument that is really blatantly obvious. Every part of it requires a subtle finesse that you only discover through exposure to experience. In other words, you're not ever going to pick up, no one would ever pick up an instrument like that and find their way immediately to that perfect pitch that you're reaching for. And so it's analogous to this conversation that we're having about energy. It's subtle. You're not just looking for a way to play a song within the range of the notes that you're wanting to hear in order to blend in with others. You're wanting perfect pitch. You're wanting to find that resonance that when people hear it, it is so on target that it resonates with the very core of who they are and the very core of who you are, which is exactly the conversation that we had just a moment ago relative to finding the perfect pitch in your relationship. It's exactly the same thing. You just play and listen and feel, and play and listen and feel, and play and listen and feel until you find it. So that was the big thing that we wanted to say, is that there's no one that we will ever have a conversation about feeling your way to these emotions that would understand it more keenly than someone like you who has been finding it through this instrument. It's really a wonderful teaching tool for you. And since you can't teach what you don't know, and you have to know that in order to discover, and you've come very close to perfect pitch on many, many occasions, the majority of the time you're right there. Is really a rare moment when you're off at all in a way that is disturbing to you. You're moving there more and more of the time just by reaching for it and wanting it. So how can you perfect that action experience more? And that's where what we've been talking about all day, every day comes in relative to this. You prepave it in advance. You don't wait until you have the instrument in your hand. You don't wait until you're in the action part of it, which is sort of what the violin in your hand is about. You do it in advance with your vibration. Now, we've been talking about how you move through life and you're exploring the contrast, and you know what you don't want and you know what you do want. And as you said, you've been waiting for that for a very, very, very long time. It's something that you always wanted to do. So can you imagine the perfection of the pitch of this playing that you've got going on in your vortex? In other words, you've created something that is vibrationally perfect pitch. In fact, you all have. You have perfect pitch in your vortex. So when we talk now about you preparing the grid, the words that we've been offering lately are, you want to make yourself ready for what's ready for you. You want to make yourself ready for what's ready for you. Do you accept that life has caused you to put perfect pitch in your vortex? Yes. The perfect combination of relationships, the perfect bodily conditions, the perfect quest for your fulfilling your life's purpose. In other words, it's all in the vortex. Do you accept that it is there? And do you accept that it is vibrationally perfect? Because it can't be in there being tended by the source within you if there's any resistance within it. That's what makes it perfect pitch. There's no resistance that's causing it to be less than that. It's there, and it's the way you want it to be. So now, how can you get it to flow into your experience in a meaningful way? By preparing yourself vibrationally for it. So the way you apply that specifically to this conversation about the violin is that you utilize your ability to think about it even when you're not actually doing it. You focus upon the feeling of perfect pitch. You feel the relief of it. You feel the resonance of it.
Thank you.